Hello, Art Heels crew, creative brigade. Yay! So nice to see you, and we're in on our sort of bonus day live. And so yeah, hope you're well. Hope you enjoyed the Art Heels bootcamp, the 5-day creative wellbeing challenge, and that it's given you like a bit of a prompt to get started or continue or build some habits, develop your creativity, and giving you a prompt to really get kickstart. So hi Claire, we are looking today with the prompt on Saturday to do something that was 3D, and I came across this thing today that was like a 3D thing. This isn't it, this is another thing I just found, but it fits in with what I was doing because this is what I'm wanting to do. But I'm going to be making a 3D thing out of paper, and the reason why I'd said about doing something 3D is that sometimes 2D does serve a purpose. Everyone enjoys different materials or finds different materials helpful for different reasons, and sometimes doing something 3-dimensional can be really anchoring and really aligning to maybe calm the nervous system or to work with things like that, and to be able to regulate and to feel calmer. A bit like doing sort of a craft, like the repetition of doing some knitting or crochet can have a similar effect. So I'm going to be doing basically a bit of a pattern thing like this onto this piece of paper, and then turning it into something 3D. So actually I saw this today, and it's one of the crafts that feels like quite a quick thing to do, but then it can have some impact. So I'm just, as I am not having too much of a worry about what it is, I could be painting this could equally work, but I'm just wanting to do something really quick to cover the piece of paper. I want to do the front and the back, and see if you can guess what I'm making. If you can manage to guess what I'm making as you're watching this, then see how easy it is to make. So we're just going for loads of different colours. It probably, in some ways, making this in paint could probably work, but then you need to wait for it to dry. So you can have different patterns and scribbles, and you get the gist of it. So I'm wanting just to kind of show you. So, and I'm going to do a bit of colour on the other side as well, but maybe with some pastel. So oil pastel I find to be really good for those days where you may be wanting to do something expressive, but you're also wanting to feel more grounded. And I'm in one of those days today because my car's in the garage for a bit of a repair. Nothing just maybe cosmetic things, and I had a courtesy car today. So actually I'm feeling a little bit wobbly today because of that. I'm having to do things to feel more grounded and to feel in flow. So oil pastels gives me that. There's a sense of certainty with an oil pastel because you can get a solid colour compared to chalk pastels, which are very smudgy, or paints which are maybe less predictable and more fun in my opinion. I do like my paints, but I also like my 3D stuff as well. So carry on decorating this, and then we're going to do a little foldy thing, like making a fan. So backwards and forwards with your fold, and I'm just going to show you, see how this works. I saw this on Pinterest, and sometimes you can see art activities on the internet like that. You don't need to be finding like really sophisticated things just to be copying. Come up with something. So we concertina it all the way along, and then this is going to be turned into a butterfly. And part of this is that you can make it bigger if you wanted to. You can make it narrower. You can fold the other way around if that fits for you. And then we've got this thing here. This isn't the most evenly done butterfly. So then we open these out, and then what you can do is you can glue the bottom bit together if you're wanting to, but I'm going to use a pipe cleaner. I'm going to flatten this out. This is something that I find quite fun to do. Fiddling around with pipe cleaners is fun for any age. So something like this, and then you can twist the bottom part, and then bring this up, twist that as well, turn that around. That needs to be turned around that way, and then give these like a little curl. So that is my little butterfly. So if you're looking for something to do, you could do this with a sweet wrapper. You can have the same impact, like folding up a post-it note or a little sweet wrapper, and then maybe like whatever else you find. So when I did it earlier, I was tearing. You can be cutting round into a curve. You can go inwards a little bit, and then get that and spike. We'll cut a bit more, and then maybe that makes it feel a bit more like that butterfly shape, which can feel fun to do. So if you're feeling like you want to do something playful, you want to do something fun, it's the sort of thing you can sit in front of the TV and do, then have a go at this. And maybe if you're wanting to do something that feels more sustained, more sort of sophisticated, and boost the quality, then change what materials you're using. It could be that you might want to use card so it's stronger, or it could be, and maybe include a bit of origami with that, or like the Bisha was doing earlier, she's using pom-poms and creating things from that. And Catherine, I saw you like using wire and like building up those 3D sculptures with this. But I wanted to do this as like something that's really simple because of the process of making something, the physical process of like cutting and folding and playing around with something. And that's not going to be something that stays in my life kind of forever. It's not going to be something, actually they could be quite cool on the wall. You could have a whole range of these sorts of things. Could make nice Christmas decorations. Actually, you could even spray them, like spray this gold or something. So the possibilities are endless. You could even put beads or googly eyes on there so that it feels more like an insect, more alive. And yeah, that was quite fun. So if I can find some string, I might kind of hang that up and maybe put it in or have a little stick and put it inside a plant pot or something like that. So that's my like little creative activity of the day. So as a reminder of the types of things that we were doing in the Art Heals bootcamp, there's the different approaches to making art. So we went through sort of activate, and that's about behaviour activation, doing something to boost your mood or to energise yourself, even if you don't feel like doing it. More often than not, the things that are helpful are things that we don't feel like doing, and it's so easy to then not do something. So whilst it's like, I would absolutely have kindness and compassion for you to take time to pause and rest when you need to. Sometimes you need to have some discipline and make art even if you're not feeling inspired. Be disciplined about making art because it works for other things. So we might go to the gym or go for a walk if we don't feel like it. And actually, often I don't if I don't feel like it, I've got to admit. But when I choose to go for a walk, eat, or go and do some exercise, even if I don't feel like it, I always feel pleased that I've done it. Sometimes it really improves my mood, not always, but generally speaking, it would improve my mood, the fact that I've then gone and done something, but it's not a magical fix all. So, and I said to my sister hello Julie, I said to my sister when we were away somewhere, we were working out how much time we had to get somewhere, and where were we, Scarborough somewhere, and we were working out where we were going to go and how much time we had to get somewhere and whether we had time for a shower and all of these sorts of things. And actually, by the time you decide to have a shower, you could have had a shower. And I was saying to her, I've never regretted having a shower. And it sounded a bit silly that it's like, sometimes I'm like, I can't bother washing my hair or whatever, or I've gone to bed and my hair's been a bit greasy, and I've always felt a bit like, and kind of, but then whenever I'm like 10 o'clock at night, I'll have a shower and I always feel better. So it's the same with some artwork, making those pieces of art. Instead of doubting and wondering what you're going to do, absolutely do it. And then when you've got these leftover bits, these bits can become something that you create in and amongst themselves. This bit, we could make this into a caterpillar or something. Maybe make this into the mushy part, the bit of mush, that the chrysalis part of that caterpillar to butterfly process. That's possible. You could turn this into like the mush, and then actually that could just chuck that at someone that's annoying you. Chuck that at someone annoying you, like, oh sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's like, yeah, it's why, like, fall out with your manager. Don't do that. So anyway, then we had activate, then we had regulate, and that's how you're using art to regulate emotions and regulate your nervous system, your energy levels. Feel like balanced and feel that you're calm and grounded from within. And some of that is about sensory art activities. Some of it is about, certain things that you can do with your body to feel calmer. And some of it is about calming yourself down. Some of it's about energizing, uplifting. So you would need to, as an adult, and more so as an adult than a child, if you like, the children often generally need that co-regulation from sort of an adult around them to be able to calm down or uplift. Be self-aware. If you're aware of yourself and what's useful and what sort of things trigger you and what sort of things wind you up and what sort of things leave you feeling drained or like take away all your energy, then you can manage your emotions that way, manage your energy levels. And some of that is about making art that is slow and controlled. Do you remember we had big and small, fast and slow, Baz fast, and like fast, big marks, or slow and controlled. And that's about deliberately making things like that. Then on Wednesday last week, we had Explore, which is all part of the Focus 5, exploring different things around you. So looking at like some things that might be quite normal and boring or quite mundane, like a mug, and then creating something from that. Or going outside into nature and seeing something from that. Maybe discovering something or seeing something in a different way. And then came express, finding different ways to express yourself. So that's very much about what I was seeing in the group, is people being able to do things in different ways, sometimes expressing emotions that were kind of challenging particularly, or quite like hard, tough emotions, and being able to put that on a piece of paper and be able to sort of have an image that embodies that feeling, compared to an image that is maybe a diagram of those feelings or an illustration of something to communicate that to somebody else. And then the fifth of the Art Heals elements is empower. So being able to choosing to make art that aligns with you, choosing to any small choices, big or small choices you make with your art making or with your life can, and if you choose to allow them, feel empowering. So if you're making a choice and like deliberately choosing to use paint in your art, a particular colour, mixing a particular colour yourself, then that in itself might not seem like mind-blowing or kind of earth-shatteringly wow, but however, it can feel like really that you've got that, you can create a sense of satisfaction and certainty within yourself because you're choosing to do something that is for you, that you're stepping into a place where you're being really intentional and you're creating something that reflects your own needs and your values and your beliefs. So that's where doing something that's about feeling empowered, and like the prompt for that was about words. It was about words and choosing things, and I had the word trust, and we had other words about, you know, self-care and nails and hydration, and there was lots and lots of things like that people were leaning into, and using words in the art as well, which was nice to see. So with this in mind, what I'm encouraging you to do, or to summarise, what I would say is that there's a bit of straw in here. Don't need that. What I would say is that when you're making art yourself for your own self-care, self-development, there may be times when you know really clearly what it is that's helpful, and there may be times when you don't. And actually that's okay. You might find that what you need is one thing, and it starts off maybe you wanting to do something to express an idea, and then it changes to become more about self-regulation, or the other way around. You might start off thinking, right, I want to make some art, I'm feeling really stressed, I want to make some art to feel calmer, and then you might end up expressing a whole load of emotions, and some feelings might come up as a result of that, and that's okay. You might feel a bit crappy at the time, but that's okay, and that's part of you having them out, better out than in. So that cathartic release of emotions when you're creating something is what is maybe the difference between something that's energetically trapped in your body and something that starts to be processed, and you start to look at an image and like consider and reflect on it. So something that might be worth doing for you, if you feel drawn to this, is to look back at your images and look back at the things that you've made either this week or over the last few months or even longer, and just have a think about what they mean to you. Have a think about if there's anything, any thoughts and things that come up from that, any ideas, any judgments or any beliefs that you have about those things. If there's anything that you remember about when you made it, anything that you remember, you might be thinking, well, I can't really remember making that picture, but then what's come up now is this. Or you might be thinking, I remember really clearly making that picture, and I remember it being about this. Now I look at it and it feels different. It feels like there's a different emotion attached to it, and that's part of a recognition of that transformation, that change. So you don't have to reflect on your images. You can create and then not look at them again. However, I think it can be quite interesting to do and quite useful to do for a lot of people. And you might even find that you want to add to an image that you've made. You might have started something and it might feel that it needs something else. So that's something for you to decide about. It might give you an idea to make another piece of art. There's no harm making more art. But there's some things that you can be working with. So in this group, I'm really pleased at how people have been coming along and watching the videos and joining in, sharing images and sharing comments to other people's posts as well. And it feels like I'm really proud of everyone that's kind of interacted in any way, really, and really grateful that you've been able to, we've been able to come together in this sort of way. And as I promised, I am going to be giving like some little gifts, prizes. They feel like gifts rather than prizes because it's more about an opportunity to carry on with this work. And sometimes it can feel like play, sometimes it can feel like work, creativity. So I would like to offer the following people either a one-to-one with me, like a 30-minute one, which is part of the Creative R&R package. In that package, there is a whole month of one-to-one support from me for creativity and for using art for self-care. So that would be like one of those one-to-ones. Or the Creative Healing Kickstart course. I will put these links in for you to choose. Or an arty gift. So it might be that if you're choosing the arty gift, I'll put something together for you and send it to you through the post. So these are the people here that I've been really pleased with and really grateful for, really, in the group. So far, there's probably other people that have joined in just as much, but I'm really pleased at how, in no particular order, Rebisha, Catherine and Claire, I'm really pleased to be able to offer this little gift for you because I'm really grateful for how much you've been interacting with the group, how much you've been sharing your images and in some ways sharing things that are quite personal, really, and having to be stepping forward to show up and to try something new perhaps and to share things, because making something art can feel very personal. So Rebisha, Catherine and Claire, I will get in touch with you or send me a message. Send me a message on here and let me know which you prefer, whether to have a one-to-one with me, access to a course or an arty gift, and I will sort you out as quickly as possible. So in the meantime, everybody else that has been in this group, participating, joining in, having a watch of the videos, especially say if you've not been able to come to the live but been watching on the replay, I want to be able to show up more consistently now, like using this as a platform, as a launch pad to then show up more consistency. So over the summer holidays, I'm going to be kind of encouraging people to find that time. It's not my summer holidays, I'm still working and things like that, but I'm still going to be doing lots and lots of offers and things. I know a lot of people do close for the summer, and not just schools but a lot of businesses do. So I'm going to be encouraging you to do other creative activities throughout the holidays, and if you are wanting to join in with some of that, then stay tuned in the group and you can see some other tips and things. I might share some more like little butterfly things like this as well, or a bit more about my art and more of the things. Maybe we might even have some guest speakers in here. I've been starting to bring guests into the podcast, so maybe at some point some guests might want to come into this group if that feels right. And yeah, I think that is all for now. So thank you for watching, and speak to you soon. Thanks, bye bye.